We'll go ahead and get started. Welcome to the Board of Commissioners meeting this beautiful day. It's September the 4th, 2024. If you came to this meeting because, you wanted to experience some excitement and some great time, you're in the right place. Before we start every meeting, officially start a meeting, we always ask for local clergy to come and pray with us and for us here in this meeting. This morning is no exception. Michael Brandenburg is here this morning. He has graciously performed these duties many, many times. We are very appreciative of having you here this morning, and the podium is yours.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's an honor to be here. Bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day that you have given us to live and to thrive in your grace. And Heavenly Father, we ask today that you guide those gathered in this chamber, Lord. We place this meeting in your hands. We place our hearts and our minds in your hands so that you may direct us. And Father, thank you for every public servant involved in governing our cities, our states, and our country, and specifically this county. Help them to see that they are your servants first and foremost. And please empower us as citizens to give them the respect due to their office, whether or not we agree with their political positions. Give our leaders grace to justly serve, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before you in all integrity. And may they defend the oppressed, protect the virtuous, and discipline wrongdoers. And grant these commissioners the wisdom to be faithful stewards of this county and its resources. Please give them due wisdom to enact laws and regulations that foster our environment where every citizen of Clermont County can flourish and live and thrive spiritually, socially, and physically. We thank you for it all, and we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. And now to officially start the meeting, we always have staff that always go all the way to the back because they don't sit in the front so that they wouldn't expect to be caught. Jessica, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
See, next time, maybe they'll sit in front. I call this Board of Commissioners meeting at 10 a.m. to order. We'll start off with the first order of business. We have to identify a pro tem clerk. I would ask to add a motion to our agenda to add the appointment of pro tem clerk to our regular agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Corcoran?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Yes.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. And now I would move that the Board of Clermont County Commissioners hereby appoint Rebecca Goff, Assistant Clerk, the Board of Clermont County Commissioners, as pro tem clerk for today's regular session of September 4th, 2024. Do I have a second?
I'll make the motion, or I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call.
I missed who moved it.
I
I
guess
moved
David Painter
Okay.
I
did.
made the
Sorry.
motion.
I missed it too. I was like,
Commissioner Painter?
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor?
yes,
Commissioner Corcoran?
yes.
Welcome to this morning to the clerk's role, Rebecca. We're glad to have you always.
Yeah.
Next order of business is item C, which is a proclamation. It is a designation of September
We
8th.
skipped minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item B, approval of regular session minutes for August 28th, 2024. Board, I know you've had these early, had an opportunity to review them. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor?
Corcoran first.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Corcoran? Commissioner
We're on a
Batchelor?
roll today here.
Commissioner Painter?
Yes. Item number C, proclamation of designation of September 8th through the 14th, 2024 as Suicide Prevention Week. And Marcy Keith is here this morning to accept this proclamation on behalf of the Board of Commissioners. Glad you're here today. You bet. This is a proclamation for Suicide Prevention Week in Clermont County. Whereas the week of September 8th through the 14th, 2024 is National Suicide Prevention Week. It's a time when individuals, organizations, and communities across the country unite to amplify the message that suicide can be prevented. It also gives you an opportunity to speak to those around you that you love and to make sure that they understand that there are people here in Clermont County that can talk to them in times of depression. Whereas the theme this year is changing the narrative on suicide with the aim of transforming from a culture of silence and stigma around suicide to a culture of openness, understanding, and support. Whereas this week is time to start the conversation on suicide prevention. Each conversation, no matter how small, plays a crucial role in fostering a supportive and understanding society. By initiating these essential dialogues, we can dismantle barriers, increase awareness, cultivate stronger cultures of support, and encourage connection to treatment. And whereas the Clermont County residents can access high-quality prevention and treatment services that lead to recovery and a healthy lifestyle. And whereas in Clermont County, help is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week through the Clermont and Brown Crisis Hotline at 513-528-SAVE, 528-SAVE. Whereas the Clermont County Mental Health and Recovery Board, as the lead agency for Clermont County Suicide Prevention Coalition and the main funder of the Clermont County Brown Crisis Hotline, continues its efforts to increase awareness of the myths and facts surrounding suicide and the resources available to assist individuals with mental health challenges to help prevent suicide. And whereas striving to reduce suicides, Clermont County's strategic plan for suicide prevention urges all Clermont County residents to play a role in suicide prevention and promoting health and wellness. And whereas the benefits of preventing and overcoming the mental challenges, suicide attempts, and loss are significant and valuable to individuals, families, and our community at large. So therefore, let it be proclaimed that the Clermont County Board of Commissioners do hereby and hereon designate September 8th through September 14th as Suicide Prevention Week in Clermont County and declares suicide prevention as a county-wide priority, urging all citizens to recognize suicide as a national, state, local public health concern. By collaborating this endeavor, we can save lives and change the narrative forever on suicide. And this proclamation is signed by David L. Painter, President, Claire Corcoran, Vice President, and Bonnie Batchelor, members of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners. Marcia, on behalf of the Clermont County Board of Commissioners, I present you this certificate for Suicide Prevention Week. Thanks for all that you do.
Thank you, Commissioner.
You bet. Podium's yours.
So thank you. It's an honor for you guys to do this for us every year. And I'm excited this year, even more so for Suicide Prevention Week, because I do feel that our coalition is kind of leading the charge in changing the narrative. Just this year, we've been able to establish a wonderful partnership and collaboration with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, as well as USACE, which is the United States Army Corps of Engineers. And so Clermont County is leading the way in having suicide prevention materials, signage in all of our state and local parks. And through that initiative, we're also in conversation with our county and township parks. So if somebody is having mental health struggles or difficulties, they will see the 528, that they are not alone. So that messaging will be going up in remote areas throughout our county. And we are the first county in the state to put forth this initiative. So that is happening on September 10th during Suicide Prevention Week, along with our 23rd annual Candlelight Vigil, because it's not just about preventing, but it's also about remembering those who have been impacted by suicide loss. And that loss is something that is often goes unnoticed, or it has the stigma around it that people don't necessarily talk about it, because unfortunately there is a shame. And by us leading our 23rd annual Candlelight Vigil here in the county, we again can change the narrative and let people know that we do care, that there is always a safe place to go and feel represented around other people that have life experiences. And also, we know that those individuals who have experienced suicide loss are at a greater risk for they themselves to have those thoughts. And again, promoting that there's always somebody with our crisis line at 528-SAVE to be able to listen to their thoughts and be able to give them support when it's needed. So I feel that this year's Suicide Prevention Week in Clermont County is paving a new way, that we are changing the narrative. And I love the fact that Clermont County is at the forefront of doing so. So thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Great work. Thank you.
Want to take a picture, Mark?
Oh, yes.
Where you at?
Dr. Watson, you joining us, or are you going to just keep hiding? What'd she say?
No, we have to have a doctor. Not this place, right? Sure.
All right, we'll go in
Stop.
3.
But you laugh. Make my eyes
That might actually
small.
be a good photo. All right, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
We appreciate your
I'll get
support.
ready for September.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Doctor. Next piece on the agenda is item D. We have a presentation from Steve Ferguson for USI benefits update. Steve?
Do you want to move these up so they don't have to wait?
Employee introduction.
Yeah, why not? Let me hold you off a minute, Steve. We'll move some new employees up because I know they probably want to get back to work, but I know they'll miss being here. They'd really like to stay the rest of the afternoon. So we'll start with Aaron Meadows. Nope, we will start with the Clermont County Kennel, Classy Davidson, Angie Livesay.
Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
Morning.
I think you all know how happy and excited I am to introduce our new medical
Yes.
team to you at the animal shelter. So we have Christine Davis, who is our vet tech, and Maddie Annis, who is our vet tech assistant. Just a little bit about them. Christine graduated from Baker College in Michigan. She has 18 years experience. She has been a vet tech in California, Wisconsin, Florida, Virginia, Michigan, and Ohio. Her husband, Eric, retired from the U.S. Coast Guard in 2020, and then they came back to Ohio. They have 2 miniature Australian Shepherds, Ruby and Finn. She says they are her fur babies that keep her very busy. And she said, my main reason for working at the animal shelter is to help the dogs have a better life. And then we have Maddie. Maddie just recently graduated from Live Oaks with her vet tech certification or vet tech assistant certification. She says she grew up on a farm, which, and I quote, entailed that I got bit, scratched, and kicked all day long. We hope that is not the case at the shelter. I have 2 golden retrievers. She has 2 golden retrievers and a calico cat with wobbly cat syndrome. And she says, my animals have homes, so it is part of my job to help these dogs at the shelter find good, loving homes as fast as possible. So I spent most of the afternoon with them yesterday, and they're off to a really great start. I think they're going to be a fantastic addition at the shelter. So.
Good. Welcome, both of you.
Welcome.
Thanks for coming to Clermont County. And hang around here a little bit because we're going to take a picture.
They're really excited about that.
You bet. I could imagine. Community Economic Development. Chris McClintock.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Morning.
I am here to introduce Greg Smory. He's the new engineer plans examiner for the building division in Permit Central. Greg retired from Hamilton County Planning and Development Department 2 years ago. He was in the stormwater division and was the plans examiner and floodplain administrator. He's now joined Bruce Crace's team over at Permit Central. Greg lives in Alexandria, Kentucky, married to his wife Angie, and has 2 sons, Brian and Gabe. Brian's 35, Gabe's 21, and a lovely dog named Crosby. So we've been looking for someone in this position for a few months, and Greg fit the bill, and we're excited to have him on board to help us.
You bet. Thanks, Greg. Thanks for coming. You bet.
Yeah,
All right.
thank you.
And next we have Water Resources, Lyle Bloom.
Morning, Lyle.
Morning.
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 All right, this morning we have Tyler Westendorf. Tyler started with us on August 19th. He's working as an operator 1 at our Bob McEwen water treatment plant. He'll be working 3rd shift. He graduated with a bachelor's in environmental science from the University of Toledo. He also is local. He is currently residing in Amelia, and we were speaking earlier, he actually went to Amelia High School also. So we're both Amelia alumni. He has about 5 years experience in a laboratory analyzing water and wastewater samples. So we're happy to have him on board, and with the education and experience that he has to help him get his Class 1 license. So
Great.
we're happy to have him.
Fantastic. Good to have you. And now if all the new employees would like to come up front here, we'll all take a picture together.
And
You
did you
just
bring
kinda-
your dog with you?
Kind of just U-shape right here.
Do we have one other? Okay. We'll just slide. Okay, aren't you gonna crack a joke so we're all laughing again?
All right, we'll go in 3, 2, 1. Hold on. And 3, 2, 1. Perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now for all the new employees, you are more than welcome to stay, and you're more than welcome to go.
They have purses in hand. I think they're leaving.
Actually, Bonnie leaned over me and said, "Don't make them stay here for any longer than they want to." So,
I think you just had one walk-in for public participation. and they
oh, did we?
get them out of the way.
Okay, no problem.
No, never mind. I think you up.
Steve, the podium is yours. Sorry that I held you off there for a presentation for benefits update.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me again. It is a privilege and a honor to serve you and the employees of Clermont County. So thank you for having me. So today's discussion is going to be a follow-up from the meeting that we had on August 14th. At that time, what we did was we presented some costs for this year, which, as you remember, has been a heavier claim year than we've had in the last couple of years. And then we also gave some preliminary proposals that we had at that time, and we're going to present the final proposals at this point. So today's meeting is really to share the key points to help you make a decision on the county's 2025 benefit providers for next year. We will also do an update on the dental. I know there's been some discussion about dental, and so a survey has been done with employees, and we'll present that information to you. So obviously there's a lot of numbers on the page here, and these numbers are probably familiar because several of these things we presented last time. So you can see that in the first column identifies the current costs of the different programs. And so you today have what's referred to as a self-insured benefit plan. The self-insured benefit plan has very key components to it. One is the administration costs, which is the cost that we pay to the insurance company to pay the claims. The second is the stop loss, which is the insurance that the county has above a certain threshold, and then above that, so the insurance company is responsible for it. The county would be responsible to everything up to that point. And then we have a claims number, which the claims number is really the largest number you have. And so claims numbers typically are most impacted by your claims experience. When you have bad claims experience, you can probably expect to have a larger claims number into the projection for the next year. And so if you add it all together, plus the county admin, the HSA contributions, and the credits that the county gets back for people who go to do their physical each year, the current cost is about $15.9 million. The renewal that we had with our current vendors, which is United Healthcare, a stop-loss vendor called Voya, and also the pharmacy manager, which is called Magellan, has a $200,000 increase in the stop-loss cost, mainly because of the large claims that have occurred, and then about a $2 million increase in expected claims because of the claims that are running through this year and expected to go into next year. And so that number, if we stayed with United Healthcare, would be an increase of about $2.2 million of an increase, or 13.5%. The alternative is something that we have looked at for a couple of years, and to get up to this point, instead of simply just looking at the least expensive alternative, HR and the Healthcare Advisory Committee has invited SEBCO down several times to not only just talk about the cost of participating in the program, but how the program works, the advantages, some of the disadvantages, So SEBCO has been pretty thoroughly vetted by the Healthcare Advisory Committee in coming up with their decision. But they actually operate a program that for the county would look very similar to an insured program. So even though their program is self-insured, it is a cooperative program used with all of the different counties that participate. And so unlike the current program where you tends to have volatility from month to month with claims that occurred, the county would be paying a fixed amount every month, regardless of what other claims that occur. And then at the end of the year, you would actually, your renewal would simply be based on the kind of your experience plus some aggregation from other counties, good or bad in some cases like this. So as you can see, instead of having a claims number, you actually have a premium number that you pay. And then in addition to that, there are claims that will be incurred up to December 31st of this year that have to continue to be paid. There's somebody who goes to the hospital on December 1st, that claim will come through. It has to be paid by something, and that's referred to as a run-out cost. And so the run-out cost is about $1.5 million added to the county admin. And when you add it all together, the increase, instead of being 13.5, is 8.5. So the savings is about $800,000 in a change to SEBCO. And so the items below look at things that are additional cost. So we will have a carryover credit for rebates of about $500,000, employee contributions, which comes back in terms of a credit to the county of about $2.2 million. And then the county benefit contribution, which is really based on what you have to pay in the year, would either be $17.5 million, which would be for United Healthcare, or $15.1 million, which would be a lower number for SEBCO. The next question that would come up would be, well, if we consider SEBCO, what are the differences to employees? Because that's what really matters in the long run. People will look and they'll look and see what's really impacting them. So unlike in the past where SEBCO had very specific plans that weren't very flexible, they have changed that policy. And since then, they were able to adopt the current plans that the county has. Only a couple of changes are there. For instance, one change is in the single deductible for the high deductible HSA plan is $3,300. That has nothing to do with the county or SEBCO. It's a government change that has to happen. And then as a positive thing, today's world, when a person goes to a primary care doctor, a specialist, an emergency room, there are some additional costs if they don't go to the specific provider. That's eliminated. So it's just a flat either copay that they have, which will be viewed as kind of a positive things from an employee standpoint. So the next thing I want to go through is actually just some advantages, disadvantages for either decision to stay with United Healthcare or the decision to move over to Anthem and the SEBCO arrangement. So we'll go through kind of the pluses and minuses of both programs. So first, let's look at the pros. If you were to stay with United Healthcare, obviously, with a self-funded program, you have much more flexibility, control over your vendors, your terms, your rates, things like that, because you control them and not a cooperative. You do have some more flexibility when it comes to funding. You have the ability to customize your services and tailor to some employee needs in a program like that. I think some of that is kind of more flexible with SEBCO these days than it was in the past. And also, because the county participates in an employer's cooperative called the Health Action Council, the county actually gets certain discounts or financial incentives through United Healthcare. So that's one of the options that's out there today. On the negative side, to stay with United Healthcare, the biggest one, of course, is it's a higher cost to the county and also to employees. The administrative costs typically that are handled by the county obviously would continue to be there. You have more volatility in renewals every year because it's really based on your specific claims experience. And you have more volatility in your monthly costs that occur from month to month. And so making sure that it's funded properly in the process. Plus you don't have to worry about monthly or weekly invoicing, reconciliation of claims, all that kind of stuff, because that's handled through the Anthem cooperative. Also, one of the negatives with United Healthcare is that the county would continue to be responsible for government reporting, things like a per query fee. You would have COBRA costs, things like that that's out there today. So on the other side of the coin, if you look at the Anthem program offered through SEBCO, one of the advantages, of course, is that you would have a fixed monthly expense instead of having claims that can fluctuate because you have a large claim that occurs. You're going to have a monthly number that stays across the board. So certainly, from a budgeting finance perspective, it's more known throughout the year. Also, you do have a cost reduction for the first year. There is what's referred to as a run out that's occurred, and I understand that the run out will be handled through the county's healthcare reserve that we have out there today. So that's how that would be handled. There are some advantages, a lot of advantages in claim pooling. If we have a bad year in 2025, the losses will be shared across the cooperative instead of simply applied directly to the county. Also, there are some advantages with the SEBCO program with regard to stop loss. The COBRA administration, which is paid today by the county, would be part of the package deal that they have with Anthem. The reporting fees called per query, which it's about $6,000 today, which the county pays, would be part of the thing. And there is a employee assistance program offered through the Anthem program through SEBCO, which the county pays today and would not have to pay from there on. And then there are also some wellness rewards that members receive directly when they achieve certain wellness requirements in the process. And so SEBCO also handles government reporting and some of the vendor contracts that are out there. A few of the disadvantages. One, we talked about the healthcare reserve. The healthcare reserve is for claims. Our actuaries determined the reserve to be about $1.5 million, just to run out of claims that occurred throughout the year. And that will likely be paid by the county's healthcare fund reserve. It's important to understand that when SEBCO valued the claims, they know that they're only going to pay probably about 10 months of claims, because the majority of claims that happen in the first couple of months are really from the prior year, just how that happens. So the only reason I say that is because in the first year renewal, if we were to go with Anthem SEBCO, they will base the renewal based on 12 months instead of 10 months. So there's a little bit of reconciliation with something like that. The good thing, or the con, is that there are some things that are not covered by the SEBCO plan that we currently have, and so certain flexibility of things we have, such as the GLP-1s, which was a change that the county did this year to allow those weight loss drugs into the program, are not going to be covered. In our discussions with SEBCO, they allowed it for this year, and apparently it has gone out of control for them. So they decided as a board to get rid of that expense and not cover that at all. So we do have some alternatives to talk about to continue to do it for the county here. One other thing too is that if you go with the SEBCO and the Anthem program, it is a 3-year contract. So if you decided to get out for some reason, there would be some penalties that you'd have to pay for that. And then there is a little different pricing, but we'll work that out between the high deductible plan and the copay. So any questions before I move on to anything else?
One of the things is just talking about that cooperative plan.
Yes.
One of the things that have made this more desirable in the cooperative plan was the fact that obviously they're comprised of counties throughout the state, and they've picked up some big counties.
Yes.
Now before, one of the things that made it not attractive was the fact that we were one of the big counties. Mm-hmm. And so that cost we would bear the cost of everybody else's. So.
Right. And I think it's important, just because you pick up smaller counties doesn't mean that you're going to pick up bad experience, because you have small counties and they could be healthy counties. And so.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anything else? Okay. So we're going to transition over to dental. And I know that, it's important to realize that whenever you talk about dental, It's, having been in the healthcare business for a long time, no one is ever happy with their dental plan. So it seems like everybody. And so in anticipation of this, one of the things that Human Resources did was they did an employee survey, of which they had pretty good participation in the survey of who was in favor of one way or the other. But we'll deal with that in just a second. Let's talk about the financials. So we were able to negotiate a renewal with the current dental provider, which is MetLife, at 6%. And so that's a change of $37,000 in that process. There are two Delta Dental options, which was the former dental program. One directly with Delta Dental, which is at a 14%. And then the other, if we were to choose Delta Dental with the SEBCO program, which came in at 10%. And so even though one is at 10 and one is at 6, it's important to recognize that when you look at the tier costs, the family cost for the SEBCO Dental would actually go up about $7, whereas the family cost for the MetLife program would only be about $1. So, so look at it that. So then that's the financials. And then if you look at the survey that was done, and again, this reflects what we see all the time in this, you can see it was pretty well split. And so you had 56% of employees who said they preferred to stay with MetLife, and 44% decided that or wanted to move over to Delta Dental. So obviously a fairly narrow margin, but it does seem like the employees tend to prefer. And again, like one of the things we see in dental is you can never make anybody happy in that one person likes one versus the other. So both are good programs, so you're not going to go wrong with either one that you have. So turning to the recommendations, obviously the Healthcare Advisory Committee, after meeting with SEBCO several times and feeling comfortable with that program, how it works, so what the impact on employees, the Healthcare Advisory Committee unanimously recommended to move to SEBCO and the Anthem program. Obviously, one of the keynotes is that the weight loss drugs today, the GLP-1s, which are covered by the county, are not going to be covered by the county. And so that if there's an interest to continue that, we have an option that would be outside of the SEBCO Anthem thing that we could do. And it's a good option. USI has vetted that option. And for people who want to do that, I think it's a good program to continue something like that. And then the other recommendation was to renew with MetLife based on the employee results. So those are the two choices before the commissioners today. So I'd like to, I guess let me finish up the next step, and then we can ask you for your decision. So the next steps after you make the decision for the healthcare provider and the dental provider would be simply, do we want to pursue looking at continuing to cover some of the GLP-1s for employees? So that would be, we've got an option for that. After these decisions are made today, what we'll do is we will go back to the Healthcare Advisory Committee and talk about funding of the plans and what the employee rates are going to be. Look at a couple of plan design changes that we have considered already that would further reduce the cost to the county and add some value back to employees. We would look at actually consideration of a wellness and weight loss management program where we could actually carve out some of the weight loss drugs and do from there. And then look at the EAP vendor recommendation only if we were going to stay with United Healthcare, because that would be an option. So if you go with SEBCO includes the EAP in the program. So, and then of course your flexible spending renewal. That's what I have. So
one question about the GLP option.
Yes.
Recently, they've had a lot of information come out about GLPs and the cost of those particular drugs and the prescription usage as far as how much of that drug is given for weight loss versus given for diabetic reasons. And then they've also talked about generics, and that generics are coming available in the near future here. And they really talked about what drives this cost up, and really it's all about manufacturer. And they admit that. I mean, it comes out with that. They're coming out with a couple of newer drugs that carry a different label that are supposedly a lot less side effects that are going to be available. Those will be the new GLP-1s. And then the older GLP-1s, they'll go to generic, I would imagine. I mean, that's kind of, but they said that that wasn't going to happen. Probably, it was probably going to take 3 years from now to really get what's your feeling on that?
So there are at least 4 to 5 drugs that we know of that will probably be introduced in the next 2 years that will supplement and complement the drugs that are out there today. There's there's probably 5 to 6 drugs that can be used for diabetes. There's really 3 drugs that can be used just for weight loss today. All of them can be used for diabetes purposes. And the drugs that are probably going to be coming out in the next year or two will just be complements to those kind of drugs. But you're right, there are some drugs that are very specific to things that I think are going to come out in the future. And so, we have a pharmacy director that works for us, and the guy is super knowledgeable about all of this stuff, and he keeps his finger on the pulse of what's happening. This is a big revenue item for pharmaceutical companies. So you can bet that it will continue to grow in this. And so I think managing this, whether you want to continue to cover them or not continue to cover them, it will be an important, if you want to continue to managing this, making sure people are taking it for the right reasons, not just to lose, 20 pounds to go to the beach or something. So it would be important. So.
Well, it seems reasonable since obviously coming into an acceptable weight can obviously impact your health and make your health a lot better. But it also seems that right now that the side effects are pretty tough,
There's a lot of side effects. Probably the biggest side effect that you hear today is really just all the gastric issues that occur.
Right.
But there are some serious side effects of some of these. One of the key items for weight loss drugs is pancreatitis. And so pancreatitis is a very serious thing to get that. And I don't, off the top of my head, don't know the percentage of it, but it's been identified as a key adverse effect from it. So,
yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Iman? Yeah, please.
Did the board have any questions about the recommendations?
No.
And are you ready to take a vote on it, or would you like more time to discuss?
Are these the actual actions that were taken by the council?
Yes.
So that these are their recommendations?
The recommendation is to go with Sebco and also to stay with MetLife.
Board, do you want to make that decision now, or do you want some time to think about it?
Well, what do you think? What's everyone think?
These are their recommendations. I mean,
How many's on the board?
good.
There are 12.
Mm-hmm.
12 people, and it was unanimous, every person.
Do we have any motions prepared for this, for
I
accepting it?
can have some 2 add-ons. I can do an add-on for dental and an add-on for
Sure.
medical, if you
Okay,
would like to do that.
sure. Let's do it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You'll go ahead and prepare those and have those ready for the board? Okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Stephen. We will move on to item E, public participation. Is there anyone here that would like to participate from the public in the meeting today? Going once? Okay, I'll close public participation. We will move on with the consent agenda. Board, the consent agenda has been prepared by the staff. You've had it in advance, had the opportunity to take a look at it. Are there any items that need to be removed from the consent agenda for further consideration?
None.
Hearing none, then I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call. Rebecca?
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We will move on to item G, which is the non-consent agenda. Non-consent agenda starts on page 3 with item number 8. It's a recommendation of the Board of County Commissioners to adopt resolution number 115-24 to approve payment to vendors in the amount of $2,637,252.47 as outlined in the BCC approval invoice report for checks dated September 4th, 2024. BCC directed prepaid invoice report, and the procurement card transaction report as presented by the county auditor on September 3rd, 2024, and further authorizing the auditor to issue warrants pursuant to section 319.16 of the Ohio Revised Code. Board, do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 9. Morning. How are you?
All right, I have a recommendation to authorize David L. Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, or in his absence, any other member of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute extension number 1 to the pet licensing service agreement between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and DocuPet Corp. At 235 Harrison Street, Syracuse, New York, 13202, previously ratified by the board on October 1st, 2021, to exercise the first of 5 options to renew for an additional period of 12 months for hosting, support, tag fulfillment services for the Clermont County dog licensing at no cost, effective upon provisioning date October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, with terms and conditions of the agreement to remain in full force and effect.
Board, you have heard the reading of item number 9 for DocuPet. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion?
Do we have any idea how many licensure there was through this program in the past year? How
I
we're doing
don't
with
have
it?
that number with me. I do know that DocuPet did make a unrestricted donation of $15,000 in February of this year.
Very nice. Okay.
Mhm.
I know they did a great job when someone called and there was a problem with their tag getting scratched, and they immediately took care of it. So that was good. Thank you. Nothing further.
Anything?
Emily is here this morning, and I would say you probably can't pull a number right off the top of your head.
Actually get them from Amy.
Amy referred to somebody else. Hurry up. That's
But
fine.
if I remember, it
Right.
was like 230 in an off year, 300 in
Good.
the year 3 type rehab.
Close.
Is that close?
That's pretty close.
Good. Okay.
They've been working hard for promotional materials to increase the outreach. So I do update Emily regularly on historical and actual values. So.
Thank you.
And since you didn't say who you were when you walked up to that podium, I just want to make sure anybody that's watching knows that this is Amy DeClaire from the auditor's office. So this is something you deal with all the time. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Any further conversation? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Amy. Thanks for being here. Item number 10. Item number 10 is Sandy Todd. Sandy, morning.
Item 10 is a recommendation to execute a memorandum of understanding to the collective bargaining agreement by and between the county and the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, Local 3536, who represent the bargaining unit employees of the Department of Job and Family Services. That contract was previously ratified by the board April 13th, 2022, and it expires December 31st, 2024. This is to effect a one-time adjustment to base rates of pay for eligible employees in the Social Service Worker 3 classification pursuant to the terms therein, and to authorize the preparation and processing of record-only personnel actions.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Sandy. Item number 11.
Hello. Item number 11 is a recommendation to adopt Resolution 116-24 to request the State of Ohio Director of Transportation to reduce the speed limit on Old State Route 32 located in Batavia Township. This is from Batavia Village to Harold Road, and it's going to go from 45 to 40. They're requesting ODOT to change that.
And you didn't get a chance to tell them who you are. You
Doug
are
Moyer from the County Engineer's Office.
Go. All right. Thank you. Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
Item number 11.
11, I'm sorry. 11.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Moved.
second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call. Becca?
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 12.
Number 12 is a recommendation to reduce the maximum weight limit on County Bridge number C23-0.65 located on Bucktown Road in Jackson Township, according to Figure 1, due to deterioration thereof as determined by a recent inspection and evaluation performed by the county engineer in compliance with the Ohio Revised Code, Section 5577.071, as outlined below.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12 for the reduction of a bridge. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Doug. Item number 13.
Good morning.
Morning.
Item number 13 is recommendation to award the bid for professional services for the creation of a comprehensive county housing study located in various townships and municipalities throughout Clermont County to UP Development Planning LLC, 123 South Broad Street, Suite 2042, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for their statement of qualifications received on June 6, 2024, at a cost of $95,000 paid from the Community Development Block Grant Funds, and to execute the contract between the Board of County Commissioners of Clermont County, Ohio, and UP Development Planning LLC in compliance with the terms and conditions and contingent upon the release of the required purchase order.
So before I ask for a motion, I would just request to tell the people who are watching today who you are.
Oh, Kennedy Briggs. I'm the grants coordinator.
Just want to make sure they know that all these grants that get put in, you have your finger on the pulse for that. Board, you've heard the reading on number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It's been moved and second.
He just wants to put you in the hot.
Any further conversation?
None?
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran, Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Kennedy. Item number 14.
Morning, Board.
Morning.
Acres with the office management budget.
I knew that was going to take. I knew it.
I have a recommendation to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 181-23 for calendar year 2024. We have 4 supplemental appropriations. The first one is with the Sheriff Administration, $500, as well as the second one, Sheriff Administration, $2,800.10. Both of those are for other expenses and they're to replenish some of their donation fund orgs that come out of general fund that they didn't have budget.
You had to get that 10 cents in there, right?
They do. So then the next one is for CDBG entitlement program, actually with Kennedy and Desmond. The $200,000 for other expenses. This is just for additional CDBG projects they have lined up. And then the last one is Soil and Water Conservation District, $61,300, and this is other expenses for a grant they received. So in order to spend that grant.
Okay.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thanks, Emily. And for those that were watching, just keep in mind that CDBG, they list it as an entitlement program. Nobody's entitled to that money. It all comes from the same place, you, the taxpayers, and that there is an evaluation and a review done on each and every one of those projects to make sure that they actually make Clermont County a better place to live, work, and raise a family. So those are programs that go out to medium and low income areas within Clermont County, and they have to qualify for that money. So just want to make sure they use that term entitlement and didn't want that word to mean something different to someone. That completes our non-consent agenda. Are there any additions to the agenda?
I'm Tom Eigel, County Administrator.
Oh,
Thank you.
There are no additions to the agenda, sir.
Now they know who you are. Thank you. Hearing no additions, I'll go to item number I. I'm requesting an executive session pursuant to section 121.22 G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the employment, dismissal, discipline, or compensation of one or more public employees. Or do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Roll call.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we will move into executive session. We will return and conduct further business. Thank you. We have returned from executive session. There were no decisions or actions taken. We will move on with our regular agenda. I'll go back to item H. Are there any additions to the agenda?
Commissioners, we have two additions through Human Resources. One is for our group medical and prescription plan, and the second is our dental plan.
Board, you've heard the request to add these two resolutions to our agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to add the
I'll
two.
second.
It's been moved and second. Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we have two resolutions here for medical. One is for a medical plan and one is for MetLife Dental. Yvonne, thanks for being here. If you'd take us through these, please.
Yes, it's our recommendation to accept the SEPCO proposal for employee medical and prescription drug coverage beginning 1/1 of 2025 as presented by Steve Ferguson of USI on September 4th and 2024, and to authorize the employee benefits coordinator to obtain the necessary documents and agreements for the reference services for submittal to the Board of County Commissioners for ratification.
Board, you've heard the reading of the resolution for the Clermont County Human Resource Department acceptance of a proposal for the 2025 employee group medical and prescription plan. I understand that this plan was selected by the advisory council.
It
And
was.
This has been their recommendation. Do I have a motion for this motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll
to approve.
second.
It's been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. And the second one?
Second recommendation is to accept the MetLife renewal proposal to continue to offer employee dental insurance coverage through calendar year 2025, as presented by Steve Ferguson, USI, on September 4th, 2024, and to authorize the county benefits coordinator to obtain the necessary documents and agreements for the reference services for submittal to the Board of County Commissioners for ratification.
Board, you've heard the reading of this resolution for MetLife Dental, which again has been selected by the Benefits Advisory Council. Do I have a motion for approval?
We'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Been moved and second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other additions to the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Hearing none, I'll move on to item number
Jay.
J. And item number J is Chris McClintock, Director of the Clermont County Department of Community and Economic Development, discussion of Cincinnati Business Courier's Growth in the East publication.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes, I am here to talk about the Cincinnati Business Courier. They're doing a special insert in their Friday, September the 20th edition called Growth to the East. This is the first time they're actually doing one that's focused on the eastern part of Cincinnati, which would be eastern Cincinnati, or eastern Hamilton County and Clermont County. Back in July, they did one, Growth in the Middle, that focused on northern Hamilton County, Butler County, all the way up into southern Montgomery County. And it's a real highlight of what's going on in the community, all the positives, all the economic development, all the investment that's been made. So just a little bit about Cincinnati Business Courier. There's about 17,000 subscribers that get print, plus tens of thousands that go online. I actually go on every morning and look at it just to see what's going on in the business world. So it'll highlight the economic development growth in the county. We all know in this area there's been a lot of expansion, a lot of economic development activity, a lot of residential activity. However, folks outside of this area may not know that. So this will be going out to all those subscribers and really highlight the communities. So I'm asking for a partnership with the Clermont County Port Authority. The Clermont County Port Authority has authorized funds to be spent to be a sponsor of this. And what that means is we'll be highlighted in the very front. We'll be able to put a letter in there talking about all the economic development activity and wins that we've had. And it would be a partnership between the Port Authority and the Board of Clermont County Commissioners. We'd get some advertising in there to highlight the activity that's been going on. Other sponsors that have already committed are Park National Bank and Health Source. TQL, Riverbend, Anderson Township, Miami Township, American Modern Insurance are some of the advertisers that have committed to being here. So I feel, as the Economic Development Director, I think this would be a positive and a good partnership with the Port Authority. So I'm asking for your thoughts, consensus on if you're okay to move forward with something like this.
And so, board, I would ask, do we have a consensus to move forward in
I
this?
think it's a great
It's not a
idea.
motion or a vote, right?
No, I mean, you can, the board can make a motion to direct Chris to go ahead and move forward with it.
You bet.
And then-
So I'd make a motion, Chris, for you to go ahead and represent the Board of Commissioners and obviously in the Port Authority on this project to ensure that Clermont County is well covered in the Business Courier's upcoming publication.
Absolutely. We've been talking with them, and they're going to talk with some of our businesses and other townships and communities within the region. So look for this coming out on September the 20th. It'll be an insert in there. So we'll make sure everybody has copies. We'll get some extra copies and they put up front there and
What's
advertise.
the
Do I have a
next step?
second?
What's
We
the
need
next
the
step?
motion on the cost on it too, don't we?
Yeah, what's the?
Yeah, we'll need to authorize the $5,000 financial.
So we doing that, want to roll that all in one motion then?
I would add that.
Yeah,
I'll
that was
amend
my
that
next question.
motion
Okay. Then I can go ahead and get that ball rolling with the.
to include a monetary amount not to exceed $5,000. That good enough?
And Chris, where would the funds come from?
We'll pull that out of economic development funds.
Okay, I'm just making sure we have an understanding where that's coming from.
Okay.
You have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Roll call, Rebecca?
Commissioner Painter,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. We will move to item K. Board member comments? Any comments about today's meeting? Anything on your mind? That's for sure. Hearing none, I'll move to L. I'd ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting today.
I'll make the motion.
Been moved,
I'll second.
seconded. Roll call, Rebecca.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Batchelor,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for attending today's board meeting on this beautiful September 4th of 2024. We welcome you back to next week. Thank you.